Hello everyone, my name is Ciulla, and in the fall of 2022, I had the incredible opportunity to study abroad in Florence, Italy, enrolled as a student at International Studies Institute Florence. I spent the semester making new friends, exploring the beautiful city of Florence, and truly taking the time to find out more about myself, as people tend to do when traveling to a new country for any period of time. I look back at my time abroad, and although there are so many contributors to the wonderful experience that I had, there was one opportunity in particular that not only shaped my time in Italy, but truly made me a better human being. By some stroke of luck, I decided to sign up for a course a few months prior to my semester titled Discovering Abilities, Narratives, Disabilities, and Identities. Although the course already sounded extremely interesting to me, what really drew my inclination to sign up was the fact that it was a practicum course. A portion of the class would be taught as normal, in a classroom discussing greater ideas and topics, and the other portion would be going out into the city and engaging with individuals who were impacted by a disability in some way. A wonderful woman who is sitting amongst you in the crowd today, Dr. Serena Giorgi, was the Florence engagement coordinator at the time, and sent the incoming students a link to explore the various opportunities that we could choose from for our practicum. This is when I came across LINAR, a center for adults with cognitive and physical disabilities. LINAR is a place where adults of this nature can come daily to be a part of a community, having the opportunity to learn, engage in activities that they enjoy, and communicate with others, an aspect of life that is absolutely vital to one's well-being. It was decided that I would take the bus to LINAR after my last class of the day on Mondays and Wednesdays, spending my time there engaging with the guests, helping staff, and leading activities such as various forms of arts and crafts. I remember my first day at the center vividly. I was anxious, excited, and everything in between. When I arrived, Marco, one of the lovely individuals whom I had the privilege of working with, introduced me to everyone who was at the center. I remember feeling a bit nervous that they would not be receptive to having someone new around, or would be apprehensive of an American student trying to engage with them. Fortunately, that couldn't have been further from the truth. They welcomed me with open arms and greeted me with curiosity, kindness, and enthusiasm. Every day that I spent time at LINAR, my connection with each guest there was strengthened. I quickly learned each of their names, and they learned and remembered mine even quicker. As soon as I hopped off the bus after class, I was greeted with waving hands and wide smiles, feeling accepted and appreciated in this space. With each passing day, a new heartwarming gesture was shown to me. Hand-picked flowers, beautiful artwork, videos on YouTube that they wanted to show me. It was a special bond that I was so fortunate to create with so many of them, and it was not only a core experience of my time abroad, but such an impactful experience in the entirety of my life. It is important to mention that I was nowhere near fluent in Italian throughout my time at LINAR. I was lucky enough to arrive to my semester abroad with 5 or 6 years of Italian classes under my belt, but I was not proficient in the slightest. Although I would have loved to have more complex conversations with the guests, I think that the language barrier truly demonstrates our abilities as human beings to connect with one another without any words at all. Some of the adults at LINAR did not speak much. Some of them spoke in fluent Italian very quickly that I couldn't quite understand. But through quality time spent together and a tangible understanding and deep compassion for one another, words were truly not needed. There was a woman whose name will remain undisclosed who I absolutely adored throughout my time at LINAR. We would spend time together in the back room that opened up to the outdoor space and sit side by side for hours, coloring, painting pumpkins, chatting. I will admit that over 50% of the time I did not quite understand what she was telling me, but I listened to her intently, carefully, without any distraction. I gave her a soft smile and an acknowledging gaze that let her know that I understood her. I was here with her, wanting to spend my time exactly in this way. She would help me practice my Italian, and I attribute my increasing confidence in the language to her. This is one of the hundreds of examples that I have of the connections I was so lucky to form with the guests of LINAR. Despite language barriers, despite cultural differences, despite the abilities we all possessed. Additionally, I was fortunate enough to watch them share stories with one another, cook for each other, and enjoy each other's presence day by day. When I was asked to submit a video for today's conference, I looked into SCEP and everything that they stand for. One sentiment that stood out to me from the PowerPoint I received goes as follows, quote, "The World's Report on Disability states that the worst enemy for people with a disability is the negative attitude of society. In a world that is influenced and shaped by our attitudes, stereotypes, prejudices, and our bad practices, we must realize that what excludes disabled people from being part of our daily lives are the obstacles society places in front of them. It's not just the lack of accessibility of spaces, it's mainly our mindset." End quote. I could not agree with this more. It is so often that individuals with a disability are excluded from society, perceived as different, and looked down upon. It is absolutely crucial that we understand these barriers only exist when we give them life. When we focus on how we are different from one another, the challenges associated with the act of connecting with someone, the ways in which we cannot understand each other, this is when we build a wall between one another. In spending time at Linar, it taught me just how easy it is to break down these barriers. I focused on the ways in which we could connect. I bonded with the guests through activities and understanding and a strong desire to get to know them in any way that I could. I celebrated their wins and allowed them to teach me new things instead of only believing that I was there to help them. Truly, in hindsight, they were the ones who helped me. They showed me such a great degree of kindness that is truly rare in this world. They accepted me, they were curious about my background and who I was and about American culture. They looked forward to seeing me, allowed me to partake in their hobbies and learn about their passions. It was at Linar that I learned that our differences are only as big as we allow them to be. There is always a way to touch someone's heart, to show them that you care, to form a bond that does not require words. Leaving my semester abroad was a true heartache. This life that I built in Florence was beautiful and pivotal to who I am today. As I got on the bus for the last time, all of the guests of Linar came outside to send me off with big hugs and waves goodbye, and I was right in knowing then that I would think of them fondly and often for the rest of my life. Every day since then, I challenge myself to meet others where they're at, to show compassion to any person that crosses my path, no matter who they are, where they come from, which challenges that they face. I challenge myself to be as inclusive, accepting, and open-minded as possible. At the end of the day, we are all cut from the same cloth, and life is all the sweeter and all the richer when we allow ourselves to meet others, regardless of who they are, with compassion, curiosity, and empathy. I challenge you all today to think about the ways that we can be more inclusive, more compassionate, more accepting in our everyday lives. Seek out experiences to get to know others who are different from yourself, to enter a new community for the first time. It is only then that we learn how incredibly similar we truly are, and that every individual deserves acceptance and inclusion. Thank you all for listening to me recount this incredible experience. I truly admire the work that you are doing, and I'm so fortunate to be able to share my personal insight.